Hey RATBAGGERS, it's Jade back with the survival show. What's been going on, which games have absolutely dominated with sales and which may end up being a bit of a letdown. Also going over big news about Soul Mask and their new big update launching very soon, in fact in only a matter of days. Plus Abiotic Factor has some roadmap changes as well as a big Christmas update incoming. So all that, let's go, it's the survival show. So Stalker 2 may be expected, absolutely ripping up the sales charts. Over 117,000 players recorded at its peak last night. And I'm sure come this weekend that might even go higher. Add to that fact, they've already sold 1 million copies in the space of just a day and a half. And so far the review scores are pretty much in line with what a lot of people expected. The game makers of Stalker have got a reputation for buggy messes, as the previous games, even though they're years ago, took absolutely ages to fix, and a lot of people still tasked with the actual success of the game being down to a lot of modding work. So a 74 or 7.7 is pretty decent. It could be higher for sure, and there's definitely some reviews that really praise the grittiness of it and don't focus too much on the bugs. They did have a day one update that fixed over 1,000 apparently, and this greatly improved performance as well as a whole host of issues. And lots of sites you've never heard of are absolutely giving it 100 out of 100 or 10 out of 10, but with the majority of the bigger sites giving it maybe a 7 or an 8. So am I going to cover it? I just don't know. I didn't manage to get a review key and I've been busy with Tales of Aghasba and other stuff, and as I keep saying, I'm just not sure I'm a big fan of these types of games anymore. That said, maybe I really will enjoy this hardcore experience if I give it a shot, so I'm probably going to live stream it over this weekend. Let me know if you picked it up. It's obviously on Game Pass as well. It's a chunky download, over 143 GB, and of course it may or should be appearing on PlayStation in probably like 6 months to a year's time. Having been impacted by COVID and of course the invasion by Russia, it's a miracle this game's got made at all, so fair play to him for getting it out the door and reasonably in an okay position. Sadly, one game that's maybe not been okay is Tales of Aghasba. It had a ton of launch day issues, with PC players being unhappy that they seemingly had to sign into Epic Games. Although it was just a mistake and they didn't need to, it was something that definitely brought down some review scores early on. Add to that the misconception about what type of game this is. It's not Enshrouded, it's not Valheim, it is more of a farming and cozy experience. It's resulted in the game sitting around 54 to 56% positive review score, and that's improved after it was pretty much negative. On PlayStation at the moment it's 2.5 stars out of 5, so definitely some work to do. I did enjoy my first day experience of playing the game, and when it went live I didn't actually have any of the issues that a lot of PC players were reporting, and PlayStation 5 players definitely had massive issues where they couldn't get the game to run until about 8 hours later when the updates went and fixed it. But what I've seen is real dedication from the devs to get this stuff fixed. PlayStation's now had 2 following updates, likewise Steam, that have fixed the majority of them game breaking bugs. And while I've still got a bit to go, definitely there are more bugs here than I would like, I definitely see this game actually coming through and hopefully being a success. It really is unlike anything else out there, and I think that's what a lot of people are finding hard. It doesn't have traditional co-op where you progress at the same time. You can invite your friends to adventure alongside you, go ahead and place different buildings or pick up certain items. But progress doesn't necessarily come back with you to your world, because the whole game is based on building your own towers and building your own actual ecosystems. So while you can absolutely trade with other players and have some sort of benefit, I do still see a huge negative contingent about this. It just isn't Valheim, it isn't Enshrouded, where obviously on Enshrouded you go and join your friend's world and you have the same missions, etc. Or in Valheim, at the moment they've changed it so you don't necessarily have high-end enemies killing you since you've joined a world that's already running and the players maybe going to defeat a bunch of bosses. I'm going to be doing a full review. I'm still working through some stuff. I've been doing some guides on my other channel, JPG Crafted. I definitely feel there was an overreaction with some of the negative reviews on day one, with people just not understanding or not willing to give an early access team making a game, a really small one at least, something very special. But for sure, you can't keep excusing stuff if there's just too many bugs or too many issues. But hopefully these updates absolutely are going in the right direction and getting this game up and running to hopefully a great experience. They've got tons of content planned, so they'll obviously be focusing still on quality of life and lots of issues that are affecting players right now. I find the game absolutely stunning visually, the sound design's great, and in terms of that chill experience in trying to grow your settlements, it's really cool. It does have combat in it, but it's probably its weakest part. I was going to give it an 8 out of 10, but that probably has dropped down to about a 7 out of 10 now. Definitely potential, and hopefully they can keep on board with these fixes and improvements that the community want. What it's highlighted to me even more than ever is that games like this have got to have more open betas or more demos to get that feedback crucially from players about what works and doesn't. There are so many little game mechanics in this game that you kind of are a bit old, or necessarily anyone would be able to really should point out and say, hey, gamers kind of don't expect that now, they want this. Things like only having like basically one weapon slot and having to switch between your axe, your pickaxe and everything else every 2 seconds. Inventory issues and just not enough space to place stuff down. Even early access titles, that's the kind of stuff they would expect. Obviously we did see from Stalker that they didn't bother with any of that either. But of course they've got a long history behind them and a fervent fan base. So yeah, I'm not sugarcoating it. It's been a mixed bag for Taz at Aghasba, but I definitely see the potential. I definitely see the devs working hard, and I think it is going to come good. So moving on to Abiotic Factor. This game has obviously been in early access on Steam a good few months now, and actually has a pretty short life in terms of getting it into 1.0. They were originally scheduling some big chunky updates before the end of this year, and I'm guessing at some point either 1.0 would come just before the end or the very beginning of 2025. Well, it does look like there are some changes now. Effectively, they'll be going 1.0 at some point in spring next year now. They're focusing now on a dark matter energy update that should be arriving in Q1 relatively soon after Christmas. This was the big chunky update that was going to arrive before their Christmas update, but now it looks like they're going to be putting more concentration onto that December Christmas update with a brand new zone to go and explore, a whole ton of new items, batteries that you can use to charge up your weapons and gear as you explore. New armour, new bees and more, and then yeah, the Dark Energy update should be hitting winter, which in Australia is pretty much January I think to maybe March next year, and then that should be followed pretty closely by a 1.0 update called Fusion. All in all, it's a pretty good change. I think they're absolutely expanding on some stuff they obviously want to put in this Dark Energy update. There's some great stuff coming in this Christmas update by looks of things, and I'm going to get back in the saddle as I haven't actually played the last couple of updates. So expect some lots of live streams and little gameplay videos from me as I catch up. Another game I never really vibed with when it launched, as it felt just way too similar to Conan Exiles, was Soul Mask. And everyone's like, yeah, but we like that. We like the fact it's a better Conan Exiles. That's anyway the reception it pretty much got. A lot of players who took the time to play it said it was better than Conan, seemed to have a bit more actual care, and a lot of content in it was pretty polished. I did try it, but I just found it a bit grindy for me. Either way, they've got a chunky update, and it's coming in only a matter of days. The 25th, the Wild Rides, it looks like they're going to be adding a huge amount of tames to the game that you'll be able to ride now. I'm pretty sure they had some tames, but this seems pretty out there. Giant, massive elephants, wing gliders, and a lot more. And yeah, if you're comparing this to Conan, I'm saying this game is absolutely kicking its butt in terms of the content it seems to be showing. I did like Conan back in the day, jank and all, but you know, their practices put me off a little bit from their company. So maybe I have just got to bite the bullet and put some serious time into Soul Mask. As said, new update going live on the 25th of this month. And that's pretty much it from me. Like I said, I'm persevering with Taz Aghasba on my other channel, making guides and doing lots of Let's Plays. Come check me out, do that. And yeah, hopefully the next few days you might see me jump into Stalker, maybe the actual Soul Mask update, and definitely in the next week or two, taking a look at Abiotic Factor. And of course, as always, the survival news you need to know. So until next time, Ratbags, I'll catch you later.